Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us here as we continue to tell your story. Now, the South African Social Security Agency, SASSA, has voiced its concern following an advertisement on Facebook by a man who claims to be selling SASSA cards. In the advert, one Tabiso Cele is offering to sell SASSA cards on the Facebook group. The cards are offered at prices ranging from 600 Rand to 1,200 Rand. And they also claim that buyers would receive 400 Rand per month or 1,400 Rand per month respectively. We talked to the South African Social Security Agency's spokesperson, Paseka Letsatsi, who joins me now live in our studios here in Johannesburg. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Good afternoon, Paris, and good afternoon to the viewers as well.
Thank you so much indeed. Now, I briefly highlighted the scam on my introduction, but tell us a little bit more about it. Look,
Paris, I think about 2 weeks ago, we intercepted this SMS which has been going around. The SMS seeks to say that as an organization, we are actually selling cards to grants beneficiaries between 2,000 and 4,000. I think you did mention the amount there. And this person is saying people must call the number and so on. So we just wanted, the intention is to put it very clear and straight to the public that the South African Social Security Agency does not charge anybody to provide its services, because SASSA services are free of charge.
But it looks like more needs to be done, Paseka, in terms of educating SASSA beneficiaries and perhaps also reminding them that your services are for free.
That's why we are embarking on this campaign, Palesa. You know, as I was coming this way, I was just thinking about a song which says Kilukisa Kamona. We have tried everything possible to make sure that we engage with our beneficiaries. We are intended going to all the flag-fang areas, because we know if you chase them here, they spread to other areas and so on. But what we just want to tell our beneficiaries, Palesa, which is very painful, is that once we intercepted that there is an SMS circulating around, we deactivated the cards immediately. So it means if you are a beneficiary, you buy this card for 2,000 Rand, unfortunately, you're not going to get anything when you go to the bank. But secondly, if you are caught with this card, unfortunately, you might be charged for being in a position of a stolen property.
But the question, Paseka, is where do they get these cards from?
During December or maybe November, you might have seen that there might have been some robberies, especially at the post office. So during those particular robberies, remember, our cards are stored there, because South African Post Office and SASSA distributes these cards. So during those robberies, this is where the cards were found. And I think these people just decided to become creative and say they are going to sell these cards to other
because
people.
I would want to believe that every card has its own sort of serial number.
Exactly.
So what happens? Do you immediately deactivate those?
You see, that card, for it to be able for it to be active, you need to make sure that you give it a pin and you activate it through the machine.
So as they were, they were not.
They were those cards
were able to get anything.
Exactly. So all what we did was to simply identify them and deactivate. So they are useless. If you have that card, unfortunately, you have something which is not going to be any value to you.
Yeah. And we've heard you on the SABC News platform on many occasions, Paseka, talking about the different scams involving SASSA as well. I remember in one instance we heard you for the electricity and the airtime where our grannies were robbed of their money. The question is, what happens to the perpetrators of these crimes?
Look, Palis, I think we have managed to catch some of these perpetrators. I can assure you, we are hot on the heels of this one. He's just very close.
Because I wanted to see what happened to him. The numbers are there on the Facebook page.
No, they are there, but unfortunately the investigation is at a very sensitive stage. I have to be economic with the information that I'm going to offer here. But we are very hot on him. We think very soon that he'll be behind the bars. But we don't actually want him. We also want those people who have been working with him. There are big fishes which we want behind him. But I'm saying, Palis, I mean, coming here to SABC, it's not enough. We are penetrating, we are going to those rural areas. We are engaging with everybody to make sure that we continuously teach our beneficiaries to be very responsible with their product.
Going back to my question, do you have cases that you can cite now on air to say we've had this number of people who have been arrested and prosecuted for being involved in these scams? We do, Palisa. In KZN, there are people who were sentenced in November for going for engaging in these particular activities.
We have others who were also sentenced in the Western Cape and so on. But we have various people who committed various crimes, and we managed to work hand in hand with the law enforcement agencies, and they were thrown behind the bus.
But do you have your SASSA employees within the group that's been arrested and prosecuted?
There were numbers of SASSA employees whom were found to be collaborating with these particular criminals, and in any case we have been going to court with them, and some of them were prosecuted successfully so.
But from this particular Facebook post that we're talking about today, do you have any understanding as to if people had already fallen prey to the scam? Are there any beneficiaries who came out to say, listen, I bought a card?
Yeah. Look, from where we stand, there's no beneficiary who came to. Remember, if you bought a card,
yeah, you're not a beneficiary.
You're not a beneficiary in any case.
Yes.
Exactly.
I want to be beneficiaries.
Exactly. But we don't have. So far we don't have anybody who said, "I've got a card. This is the card I got. I bought it for 2,000 rand and so on." But we also know that there was this particular message which was posted. We know that we lost about 700 cards. Hence, we managed to go into the system and deactivate them immediately. So all that we are simply doing, Palesa, we know that the law enforcement agencies are on his case. All that what makes us sad is the fact that those potential beneficiaries, members of the public, have been conned. Just imagine if you have to pop out 4,000 to buy something that you can get for free of charge.
No, true. But at the same time, as you say yourself, Paseka, that coming to the SABC is not sufficient. You have our elders who do not have television sets, who don't have access to radio. What do you do from here when you leave the SABC going forward to ensure that the message penetrates to the beneficiaries out there?
Look, our regions have been instructed to go to the schools. Our regions have been instructed to interact with traditional leaders. We are also going to make sure that we use the churches to spread the message, because we think this is where we can be able to get more numbers for people to understand. But what we have also agreed on is that we must not just beneficiary education must not be seasonal. It must be throughout, so that people, we need to make sure that we drill this thing down to make sure that people are aware about the scammers. Because, like I'm saying, if we take 2 steps forward, somebody takes 4 steps or 5 steps, because people keep on thinking on how they can defraud.
They are ahead of time. Yes. Paseka, we'll leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for coming through.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Paseka Letsatsi is the South African Social Security Agency's spokesperson, talking to us about the scam that's been doing the rounds on Facebook, where people, or rather South Africans, were actually requested to buy SASSA cards. So please do take note that those cards are not activated. So if you buy them, you're not going to get anything from SASSA.